the US President Donald Trump addressing essentially all Americans at this hour. Nothing much was known about what he's going to mention in this speech, and a lot of announcements have been made, starting with, of course, a lot that he's said about what his administration has done, which the previous dispensation, referring to the Biden administration, there was a lot of comparison there. But he's essentially mentioned that on day one, he took steps to stop the invasion of U.S. southern border. He's made it the strongest border, calling it the worst that he got, making it the best as of now. But apart from that, of course, the announcements that he's made, he's mentioned that over 1,450,000 military personnel will be getting a warrior dividend in the U.S., and they'll be receiving a little over about $1,776 per soldier. They'll be having that in their account. Largest tax cuts are yet to come in 2026, and families are going to save anywhere between $11,000 to $20,000 a year in the year to come. So this is essentially looking forward towards 2026.
And during the address, Trump has talked about the historic accomplishments notched by his administration over the past 11 months, and also has highlighted how they were handed and how he inherited essentially a corrupt system, and all the efforts that his administration has made has led to America becoming great again. And the main pointers that he highlighted were, of course, the issue of immigration, how the economy is better than ever, which he has graded A++++, and how he has tackled how the administration has essentially tackled the issue of affordability. Apart from that, again, we heard claims of how the administration has stopped 8 wars in 10 months. And how can we miss tariffs? Of course, as he's mentioned, tariffs are his favorite word, and how they have boosted the American economy. Apart from that, it's also to be noted how this narrative setting and how the claims that have been made are also going to add to the midterm 2026 elections, which are on the head, and how this kind of...
No, and definitely, you know, he's been speaking about all that he's achieved in the last 10 months. A lot has been spoken about the wars. Now, there are a lot of questions that will get raised regarding what he's actually achieved. There's no doubt he has brought in a ceasefire in the Middle East, but to call it peace in the Middle East for the first time in 3,000 years, well, that's debatable, and it will be argued. Again, it's speaking a lot about migration, how he's been able to curb that. Yes, there have been stringent measures through and through, but he's also mentioned about how green energy, it was a scam altogether, only to drive up prices. Again, taking a jab at the previous dispensation in the US. And he's also mentioned how gas has become cheaper, and the Affordable Act is what he's referred to, that Americans can now buy their own health care, and the only ones who are going to suffer are the insurance companies who were essentially controlling the Democrats. Again, a claim from the US president, and insurance companies will definitely be suffering as they go forward. The price cuts are going to begin from the 1st of January, and he's also mentioned the TrumpRx.gov. That's going to be the new website that he's announced today itself. But what was the real purpose of this entire speech? He's packed in a lot in that matter of about 15 minutes. He's spoken about all that he's done in the last 10 months, since January till now. And as far as what is to come, that he's mentioned that starting January, going into 2026, there are going to be more price cuts. Largest tax cuts are going to be coming in the coming year. He's mentioned that as well. And a lot of that he's going to be pegging on the fact that he's used tariffs to make America great again.
Right, also, Shivan, and all of this comes with the backdrop of the recent polls showing his popularity dipping for the handling of the economy, be it the price of gas to groceries, which experts say are partly fueled by the tariffs that has been slapped on the trading partners. And Republicans fear that the voters are angered by the cost of living, which will punish them in the November 2026 midterms.
Right now, let's cut across to our colleague Susan, who's there with us from New York. Susan, of course, a lot packed in a matter of about 15 to 18 minutes. Give us your takeaways. Let's start there.
Yeah, very interesting, and perhaps in terms of content, familiar playbook from the U.S. president, but the manner that he delivered the speech was very unfamiliar, really just going through that teleprompter very fast. Somewhat, we were caught off guard that he finished so quickly. He started by saying that he inherited a mess, of course, blaming his predecessor for a lot of the concerns that Americans have even today, 11 months into his presidency. And he started with affordability, not surprisingly, because his speech really does come at a time when many Americans are feeling the squeeze when it comes to the cost of living. He also talked about border security, of course, and he came with graphs and receipts. He talked about how America is the hottest country right now, but we did get November reports, which this is after that government shutdown, you may remember, and unemployment ticked 4.6%. That's in November. He talked about what he called his favorite word, which is tariffs. He said that he has brought in $18 trillion. Again, a very significant number. But you have to put that into the context that Americans are hurting. They're not seeing the results, at least not yet, of the claims that the president is making. And he thought that this was very important to give this speech during prime time to the American public and sort of defend his administration's policies on affordability. We did get a headline there where he said that soldiers will be receiving $1,776 in dividends. And, that's a symbolic number considering the fact that 1776 is the date of America's independence some 250 years ago. He talked about prescription drug prices, how he's slashed prices, and he also teased a major housing reform policy come the new year. The speech was fast. It was pointed. But whether or not it will sit well with the American public, I think we'll have to wait to see what the reactions are going to be.